Hello, welcome to my channel, and in this video I'm going to be talking about just reasoning, along times and seasons to understand what is happening in Iran. What is happening in Iran? Why is Iran going through what is going through right now? What's going on? So I'm going to show some biblical patterns to what is happening. And remember, I'm not talking about the end times. I'm not just talking about the coming of the Lord or the end of the world. That's not the perspective. If that's what you're looking for, that's not what I'm trying to say. But I'm just going to give a time seasons perspective to what is going on. How can we interpret what is going on right now in the Middle East? How can we explain that? And I think that this is important because there is no way you can try to understand your experiences by ignoring times and seasons. When you see a gray-headed person, often it's because of age. You cannot separate your experiences from your season. When you see rainy season, when you see rain pouring out, it rains today, rains tomorrow, rains the next day, rains this week, rains that, you just know that it's because of rainy season. There's no other explanation for rain. Why is rain falling? It fell today, it fell yesterday, it's going to fall tomorrow, and all that. What is it? It's rainy season. Same thing happens. When it's winter, you expect to see snow. Season and experience are two sides of the same coin. So you look at season. Season helps us to understand our experience, because many times it is our experiences that express, that's our experiences are that is the flesh of the season. The experience you're going through is the flesh of the season you're going through. That is the voice of the season you're going through. I like that. Experience is the voice of season. Speaking loud. So what's going on in Iran? How can we explain that? Now, before I say that, let me explain that many times people run, people are whipped by their seasons because they do not understand their seasons. They can't interpret their seasons. So they become victims of their seasons. Seasons don't respect anybody. No, seasons don't respect anybody. You are the one to adjust to season. When it's winter, you have to change your pattern of dressing. You change clothes. You're not going to say, well, I'm a superman, I'm a superwoman, I'm not going to change. The winter must change for me. Okay. That person will be the next dead person. So we adjust to seasons. Seasons don't clear the road for anyone. Yeah, only God. God can, tell seasons what to do, because He's the author of times and seasons. So there are two scriptures I like to bring to you, show you something in Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes in chapter 9. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 12. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 12. It says, For man also does not know his time, like fish taken in a cruel net. like birds caught in a snare, so the sons of men are snared in an evil time when it falls suddenly on them. Meaning that most of the evil surprises we go through, of course, our understanding is not perfect. We are finite. We don't know everything. We can't even know everything. But ignorance of times and seasons is part of the reason people suffer certain things. So that's why he said, because man does not know his time. So when calamity comes suddenly, he is like a fish caught in a cruel net, and he's like a bird ensnared in an evil time. Why? He does not know his time. It's important that you know your time. It's important that I know my time. It helps you to escape some evil surprises. That's what happens. I'm going to show you another scripture. Matthew chapter 24. Matthew 24. And in verse 43. Matthew 24:43. But know this, something important, but know this, that if the master of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. If he had known the time the thief will come. Understanding times and seasons gives you a clue. It doesn't make you God. It doesn't make you omniscient. It just gives you a clue. You may know that rain is going to fall, but you never know which rain is going to take off roofs, or what the rain is, or everything the rain is going to do. So understanding times and seasons gives you clue, gives you, helps to guide you. So he says, but notice that if the master of the house had known the time when the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. How many times has the enemy broken into our territories because we didn't know he was coming? And why didn't we know he was coming? Because we didn't understand. We don't understand times and seasons. We don't understand times and seasons. So that's why he said, therefore you also be ready. Watch. So that's like what's happening to Iran. Iran had no understanding that the time, not Iran, but the Islamic, Revolution Republic. So the Islamic Republic does not know or did not know its time. I think the current leadership, the current government of Iran, been there for 46 years. It came into existence or operation in 1979. So by 2025, this is 46 years. And being in the 46th year, this is what it means. Once you come into 43 to 49, 43 to 49, you are in a season of consequences and a season of conclusions. That's the seventh. You are in a season of consequences. Whether they are good consequences, this is when people receive the rewards of labors. This is when you see the fruit. You come into a harvest season. How do I know that? The seventh is a season of harvest. When God told Israel to march around Jericho, he told them on the seventh day of marching around Jericho, that's when the wall will give way. Not on the fifth day, not on the sixth day, but on the seventh day. And on the seventh day, they marched around the seven times. It's on the seventh time, on the seventh day, that the word of the Lord, that the consequence, the result of what they did happened. So results come in the seventh season. Iran had been in a season of results. October 2023, Iran had entered the seventh 7 years of that regime. So meaning the man did not know that he had just come into a season of consequences, into a season of conclusions. And so he began to push for certain things. That's what happens. So it's very, very important that we understand. It's very, very to understand time. When you understand times, there are certain things you don't do at certain seasons because they're going to backfire. Yes. You are careful. You know, I shouldn't do this one. I shouldn't do it. There are things you don't do. Seasons don't respect anyone. If it's rainy season and you don't take care of, you don't walk on your roof to make sure you don't walk on the roads, the rain can discipline people. So that's what happens when people come into seasons and they're not careful to understand this season that I have come into, what does it look like? What am I permitted to do? What am I not supposed to do this season? Or how should I operate in this season? Very, very important. But you see, let us just look at how nations are ignorant of seasons, how people, families, how individuals are so ignorant of seasons. Remember, knowing season does not make you God. It does not make you omniscient. We don't know everything and we can't know everything. As long as we are on this side. But as we lean more on God, He will show us the things that we ought to know. That's my point. So it's not that when you know times and seasons, then you become God, you become omniscient, you know everything. No, that's not it. That's not it. But as you trust the Lord, He can open your eyes to understand, to see. Some of the things that I share, as I teach times and seasons, if God did not open my eyes, I won't know. I did not always know them. But because the time has come to bring this understanding to the church, that's why the Lord is opening my eyes and opening the eyes of many other people to understand this as we see it now. So Iran is in our 47th year right now. 47th year. Because the moment you clock 46, then you step into the 47th year. When a child marks first birthday, it means the child is now going into the second year. So Iran is in the 40s. Iran is, 46, 47 years now. In the 47th year now. And this is a season of judgment. There are so many things that you can, bring into this. The 47th is a season where famine is a season of pressures. If you read the 47th book of the Bible, 2 Corinthians, You see pressures. We are pressed on every side. It's a season of pressures. So you need to be very careful. Genesis 47, you see the same thing. Money failed. Everything failed. People had to sell themselves to be able to eat. So when you come into certain seasons, you know what could happen in those seasons. And because you are aware, you start praying, you start seeking wisdom, you start, planning so that you don't, become a victim of what, certain purposes in the season. I'm just going to read, let me read Isaiah 47. That's one of the things, apart from the pressures that come in the 47th. Let me read Isaiah 47 to you. How that in the 47th you need to be very careful. Yes, of course, Donald Trump is also the 47th president of the United States. So in the season of the 47th president, Iran is coming in. Iran's current regime is coming into a 47th year. So let's read Isaiah 47. You see what is happening. Before Israel began to strike Iran, of course, reports have been that Iran is the chief sponsor of Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. So that's why Naftali Bennett was saying, why should we be dealing with the proxies? Let's go for the octopus itself. Let's go for the head of the octopus. So Donald Trump had given a 60-day ultimatum. He said, you better adjust. Or then the 61st day of that warning or that ultimatum, Israel struck. So what is the meaning of what is happening in Iran now? Let's see Isaiah chapter 47. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for you shall no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstone and grind meal. Remove your veil. Take off the skirt. Uncover the thigh. Pass through the rivers. Your nakedness shall be uncovered. Yes, your shame will be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not arbitrate with a man. This is a picture of what is coming on Iran. And what you experience in any season is not just about what the season brings. It's also about how you position yourself in the season. If you protect yourself in a season of cold, the season will not harm you. But if you expose yourself unnecessarily and unduly in a season of cold, then the season will hurt you. So what people go through in a season is not just, it's not just about what the season is bringing. That the fact that, we're going through a rainy season doesn't mean you have to be wet all the time. You don't have to be wet because it's raining. No, you can protect yourself. You can even protect yourself and still go out in the rain, and the rain will not hurt you. So many times it is a position. It is how we position ourselves in seasons that determine what we experience in seasons. So if I position myself wrongly in a harvest season, then that's why the Bible will talk about a child that sleeps in harvest. It's harvest time, you should go out and reap, but you're sleeping. Then It hurts you. You don't get anything from the season. So what we experience from seasons is not just because of what the season is bringing, it's also our position, the way we position ourselves in seasons. So if you position yourself wrongly, a season that should bless you can hurt you. If you also position yourself correctly, a season that could hurt you will not be able to hurt you. Positioning is a lot when we talk about seasons. So you could tell if Iran is properly positioned for blessing or for peace in this time. So in a season of conclusions, in a season of consequences, you're making trouble. You're looking for trouble. You're looking for Israel's trouble. So it backfires. War is not anybody's friend, so it's also hitting Israel, it's hitting Iran. But you know, Iran is suffering more than it thought could happen. See the investment in Hezbollah, investment in Hamas, investment in it is an investment in his own homeland, investment in acquiring, nuclear capabilities, and all this is just going. So you could see that Isaiah 47 shows us a picture of how judgment can come to someone in the 47th season. It's the 47th book of the Bible, in 2 Corinthians chapter 5. Say, we all shall give account, shall come before the judgment seat of Christ. So the 47 is a season of accountability. Yeah, it is. The season of accountability. It's a season of it. So in verse 5 it says, sit in silence and go into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for you shall no longer be called the lady of kingdoms. I was angry with my people. I have profaned my inheritance and given them into your hand. You showed them no mercy. On the elderly you laid your yoke very heavily, and you said, I shall be a lady forever. So you did not take these things to heart, nor remember the latter end of them. Therefore, hear this, you who are given to pleasures, who dwell securely, who say in your heart, I am, and there is none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, nor shall I know the loss of children. But these two shall come to you in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon you in their fullness because of the multitude of your sorceries, for the great abundance of your enchantments. You can just read down to see. Now, understand me. There is no place Iran is written here. Iran is not even Babylon. Old Babylon will be Iraq. Iran will be Persia. But what we're doing is to apply. We're looking at the season where it is, and we're looking at patterns in the Word of God, because every season has a pattern in the book of the Bible and in the chapters of the Bible that correspond to that season. So it's not about whether they wrote Iran here or not. It's that this is Iran's 47th, and it's the 47th of this regime, and we are looking at the 47th in the Bible. Well, so that's part of the reason that the 47th president is taking his position. So he is the disciplinarian that Iran must, heaven is using him to say, Iran with Israel, heaven is using him and Israel to say, Iran, it's your time to calm down. You're going to sit down, you will sit down on the floor. No nuclear capability for you. Iran will never go nuclear. And to make sure that this nation is brought low. So I just wanted to share that with you. So it's important when people come into certain seasons, that so this helps you to pray, this helps you to, you get an idea what is happening, and you also know what you ought to pray for the Iranians, you know, like PM Netanyahu said this is not war against Iran, it's war against an evil regime, it's war against the dictator, the tyrant, it's war against the government that has held Iran hostage, Iranians hostage. So, well, I'm just talking about, just showing the prophetic perspective that helps us to understand what Iran may be going through at this time. And, well, pray for Israel, pray for Iran. Well, I hope you got something for that helps you to pray and helps you to interpret what is going on now. God bless you. Amen.